Dear learners, welcome to this videocast in the knowledge series on strategic management. The series will cover strategic management and its important concepts. The current knowledge series on strategic management is brought to you by G. Tendra, an educationist and a consultant. The present cast deliberates on various levels of strategy, and how those are applied in business organizations. The cast will elaborate on how the strategy levels differentiate, and provide the context on how those are used in an organization. Strategy is at the heart of the business. All businesses have competition. And it is the strategy that allows one business to rise above the others to become successful. Even if there is a great idea or a great product for a business, still a business is unlikely to go anywhere without a strategy. If it is intended to take the business to the top of the market as quickly as possible, it is a strategy that leads the way. Of course, if it is deemed to get into the process of determining the business strategies, there is a need to understand what the word strategy really means in a business context. Does it involve long-term planning as to the general course of the business? Or is it related to the day-to-day operations and how they are designed in order to achieve success? Well, in practical application, strategy can refer to both of those things and more. To help in understanding strategy in business, this cast is going to look at the three levels of strategy that are typically used by organizations. Only when all three of these levels are carefully considered, the business will be able to get on the right path toward a prosperous future. There are three key strategy levels. First, the corporate level. Second, the business level. And, third, the functional level. Having a solid understanding of these levels of strategy will help you break your strategy into the correct levels, so you can align your company-wide goals from the top of your organization, the corporate level, to the bottom, the functional level. Additionally, if you approach your strategy using these three levels, leaders across your organization will have a better understanding of how their strategic activities impact your company's high-level strategy. Let us see the first level of strategy, the corporate strategy level, and why it is considered important. The first level of strategy in the business world is corporate strategy, which sits at the top of the heap. Before organizations dive into deeper, more specific strategy, they need to outline a general strategy that is going to oversee everything else that they do. At a most basic level, corporate strategy will outline exactly what businesses organizations are going to engage in, and how they plan to enter and win in those markets. Corporate level strategy should define the organization's main purpose. It should also direct all your downstream decision-making. For example, the objectives in the levels below this one should all have a direct line to the goals defined here. Creating and understanding the corporate level strategy is particularly important for organizations that have multiple lines of business. For example, if one arm of your business manufactures a product, and another arm sells that product, you will have a separate business unit strategy for each, but one single corporate level strategy, that describes why those two arms are important, and how those businesses interact for the good of the organization. The consolidated concept of corporate level strategy is given here with There are a handful of things to do as you work on your corporate level strategy. First, confirm your overall mission and vision. These two elements define your entire organization, and so should be done at the corporate level. Your mission statement describes what your company does, and how it is different from other organizations in your competitive space. Wherein your vision statement describes the desired future state of your organization at a certain point in time. To create these elements, you may want to write out an OS statement, that is an objective, advantage, and scope statement, or use a tool known as strategic shifts. Second, create your corporate objectives. Your objectives describe the high-level goals that will help you achieve your mission and vision. Take, for example, a bank. This bank used the balanced scorecard to outline objectives across 4 perspectives, listed from the top of the scorecard to the bottom. These perspectives are finance, customer, internal, and learning and growth. You can see their objectives written in the sample strategy map as given. For some companies, outlining a corporate strategy will be a quick and easy process. For example, smaller businesses who are only going to enter 1 or 2 specific markets with their products or services are going to have an easy time identifying what it is that makes up the overall corporate strategy. However, for a larger business, things quickly become more complicated. Before getting any further into the strategic planning, be sure to have the corporate strategy clearly defined. It is easy to overlook this planning stage when getting started with a new business, but organizations may pay the price in the long run for skipping this step. It is crucially important that organizations have an overall corporate strategy in place, as that strategy is going to direct all of the smaller decisions that they make. The current cast is part of Knowledge series on strategic management, and is podcasted by Jitendra Thoma. This section will elaborate on the second level of strategy, which is business strategy. It is best to think of this level of strategy as a step down from the corporate strategy level. In other words, the strategies that organizations outline at this level are slightly more specific, and they usually relate to the smaller businesses within the larger organization. The business unit strategy is used for different areas of the business like services and products, or multiple departments or divisions, and so on. The complexity of this level will depend on how many businesses you are in, and how your company is structured. It's important to create a strategy for each business unit, so that management can see which units are excelling and which need improvement. The consolidated concept of business level strategy is given here with having a strategy at the business unit level allows you to weigh the costs and benefits of each business unit, and to decide where you should spend your resources. Depending on the progress towards the goals, and the analysis of the market, you may even decide it's time to divest, or sell some of your business units, so you can focus on the areas that are most important to achieving your company's corporate strategy. There are a few things to do as you work on the business unit strategies. First, differentiate yourself from your competitors. One of the best ways to tell if you have done this adequately is through a SWOT analysis, which allows you to review your competitive environment, and define a strategy based on what sets your organization, and specifically the business unit, apart from the competition. Second, create initiatives that support your business unit and the corporate level. Your goal, while creating a business unit strategy, is to create initiatives that support the unit, while simultaneously contributing to the initiatives of the organization as a whole. For example, at the corporate level, For the learning and growth perspective, one of the bank's main priorities in the previous example is to provide valuable skills training. With this target in mind, the business units will be able to determine what activities they will need to do to support this, like providing customer training services relevant to its specific function. Even in smaller businesses, it is a good idea to pay attention to the business strategy level, so you can decide on how you are going to handle each of various parts of your operation. The strategy that you highlighted at the corporate level should be broad in scope. This section will intricate on the functional strategy level, which is the third strategy level. Let us see. This is the day-to-day strategy that is going to keep your organization moving in the right direction. The functional level of your strategy involves each department, and what those at the department level are doing day-to-day to support corporate initiatives. Whereas the business unit strategy would be defined and evaluated by senior leadership, the functional strategy is typically produced by department heads that includes leaders in marketing, operations, finance, IT, and so on. These individuals can help ensure that the departments execute the defined strategic elements, and that the components laid out at the functional level help support both the department level and corporate level strategies. The consolidated concept of functional level strategy is given here with There are a few things to consider as you work on your functional strategies. First, understand that this level has the most detailed measures and projects. Measures help you answer the question, how are we doing toward meeting a particular objective? Projects or initiatives help you answer, what are the key actions we can take to support our objectives? While you will have measures and projects at every level of your strategy, they should be extremely detailed at the functional level. You can create a matrix to ensure everyone knows that, who is responsible for completing your projects, and who they need to go to for help or direction. Second, make sure the goals in your functional strategy align with the goals at the corporate level. Corporate goals are set by the most senior members of your organization, and those goals drive decision-making. You will gain support from the top level of executives, if your projects and goals align with their goals. You will also be able to see how the work you are doing contributes to the overall success of the company. Third, don't get too measure happy. It is seen that organizations measure hundreds of data points at the functional level. But keep in mind what your bigger goals are, and measure only the things that help you determine if you are progressing toward those goals. Going back to our bank example, this organization may decide that, at the functional level, measuring the number of service calls responded to, and the response time for customer service calls, are the most effective measures for customer service training, which rolls up to support the skills training corporate level initiative. To summarize, there are three strategy levels: the corporate strategy level, the business strategy level, and the functional strategy level. Good strategy alone is not going to automatically lead to success in business, but it certainly is a good place to start. Once the sound strategies are in place, the focus of the organization will shift toward executing those strategies properly day after day. Of course, the strategies will need to be continually monitored and adjusted to move forward, and ensuring to stay on a path that is consistent with the goals of the business. Thus, three levels of strategy play a vital role in having the competitive advantage. This brings us to the end of the cast on the levels of strategy. Thanks for watching the cast from the Knowledge series on strategic management. To be apprised of the release of more Knowledge series videos on the subject matter from Jitendra Thoma, please subscribe to the channel. Best wishes for all your endeavors.